Hey sexy people. So we've got issue 77 and 78 together. These make up the Catacomb Command Barge. Get rid of those. See ya. Right, let's put a plastic aside. So we've got our 32mm base, and I'll tell you about the 32mm base presently. And we've got our large flying stand as well. Right, that's 78, that's 77. We have another Rogue Trader trifold here. Battle in the Ardis system, the Spoils of War. So the Ardis system lies at a crucial transit point between the Brilliance system and associated Cardinal World and the armories of the Palani system. Xenos entities are prevalent in the Quartz Stars region, thus the Ordo Xenos is most interested in this region of space. The events recorded in these pages detail treachery and heresy. They would be of more interest to the Ordo Hereticus. I have forwarded my notes to my contacts within that Ordo, Inquisitor Jonas Maloch, Ordo Xenos. Okay, so there we go. So what's this? The Battle for Lithis. So it's a nice trifold. Got some nice sort of like replica scan pics. Oh, we've got a little Arvis lighter there. I want to get, and I want to, there's a lot of things I want on Forge World. That's one of them, the little Arvis lighter if they still do it. Although what I really want is a Tau Manta. Filthy Xenos. And then on the last page here, on the back page, it just goes on about salvage operations. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. Right, let's have a look at the magazines. Eldari Harlequins, a new Warzone article, and Adventures of a Rogue Trader. Catacomb Command Barge, mobile command platform. So the 32mm base, so you get included with this 32mm base because you can, if you so wish, have the Overlord that's on it separate, basically. So there's that. There's your battle record for it. Harlequins. Yeah, so Eldari Harlequins, just looking at depictions of Harlequin masks. Not very colourful ones. Quite a lot of the time we see quite a lot of colourful colour schemes on Harlequins. But these masks, I mean, apart from maybe this one, they don't seem that colourful, to be quite honest. Right, Obelisk and Lyrak. Warzone 18. Some sectors of Imperial space are utterly pivotal to the survival of the Imperium. Forge World Metallica alone was responsible for producing arms for Imperial war efforts on hundreds of fronts. Thus, when the Obelisk and Lyrak subsectors came under attack, the response was swift. So Typhus, host of the Destroyer, so it's obviously Death Guard involved. Tri-prong offensive. This is our story. 22, The Last Laugh. This is Harlequins and Imperials. So 1, 2... So 4 pages there. Najal Stormcaller, High Rune Priest. So, Space Wolves here. This is their rune priests are essentially their psychers. And Lucas the Trickster, the Jackal Wolf. Okay, and then we come into our how to build Catacomb Command Barge. We have these. It's saying they do some sub-assemblies and then the main assembly here, which is fair enough. I will probably do these because it's going to make it easier to paint the figures and the various control panels. So we've got the 2 control pads here, and then we've got the 2 seated pilot figures, and then the Overlord. Now, interestingly enough, the Overlord, although they've supplied a 32mm base, you glue the Overlord to this once you've painted it, really. So he glues into place at the back here. So you put him down, and then you put the control pad down that he stands in front of. So like this. He goes there. I suppose you could, if you wanted to, put him on a base, but I don't know how the base would interfere. Also, it would potentially raise his hand up, so it would be above the holding onto the guide rail here, which may look a bit odd. Anyhow, veteran mission number 18, breach the bastion. Imperial forces have managed to forge a small breach in the final line of Necron defences and reach the foothills of the mountains that conceal the Xenos' subterranean lairs. A reconnaissance force must now find an entrance to the nerve centre of the Necron's tomb complex, and there find a route to the Dolmen Gate. The Necrons have mustered a formidable force to counter the Imperial assault. So we've got a recce guy here. Necrons, defend the entrances. Despite the best efforts of the Necrons' cryptech engineers, the decrepit remnants of Kajama's Skull's long-dead tomb complexes are littered with breaches. The breaches closest to the Dolmen Gate must be held if it is to be protected. The Imperium must not be allowed to enter the central tomb. Imperials. The final stretch. The Imperium's forces continue to press the Necrons back towards their fortress. The Dolmen Gate's energy signature has been pinpointed. All that remains is to breach the facility and destroy the gate. This task will not be easy, however, for the Necrons have stationed their most elite troops nearby. So we're playing with 75 power. We're playing with all 4 of the battle mats on the light grey side. Mission briefing. High Command has ordered the Imperium's troops to assault the entrance to the Necron tomb complex and force breaches. The Necrons must stop them achieving this goal. Now, you may notice that there are 8 tokens here, objective markers, and in this issue they're giving you some extra ones so that you can play with extra tokens for these and potentially future missions. Personally, if you want to cut them out, that's fine. Most people throw away the fronts and backs. I'm keeping them. So if you wanted to, you can always photocopy these, or if you've got a scanner on a PC, scan them in and then cut them out. So that's that magazine. Right, let's have a look at this one. Chaos Demons, Slanesh, new 6-page story. Deploy the command barge. Right. These have all been a bit sticky and on the punch outs. Chaos Demons of Slanesh. This is your red section. D factions 06. So just talking about Slanesh, etc. Then we're into the stories. This is number 23, section C, stories, Crystal Heart. So this is Order Hereticus. Who's it against? Slanesh? Focusing crystal. Yeah, looks like Slanesh. Okay, cool. Now, how to paint your command barge. So we're pretty much coming in with lead belcher for a lot of this. Rune Lord brass for some of, well, for the Necrons. I mean, I base mine in lead belcher and then add in Rune Lord brass. I've just realised I left the TV on. I do apologise. And then come in with Rune Lord brass to accent certain areas. Yeah, so I mean the colour scheme looks okay when it's done. I might do it a slightly different way. Haven't decided yet. I might. So if we come to the end bit, so the central spine here, I may paint black and then highlight up with the greens like I have done on some of my other Necron bits and pieces. Like for example, or like highlight in green up on the tail here and around other areas that I've painted black. So I'll probably do that. Paint these wings, this spinal bit, and obviously this flared part here. Keep all that black with some gunmetal accents and do it that way. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Anyway, Catacomb Command Barge. It's movement 12 inches, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 6, wounds 9, attacks 4, leadership 10, and it's got a 3-up save. So the weapon can be equipped with a Gauss cannon, 24 inches, heavy 3, strength 6, -3 AP, D3 damage, a Tesla cannon, 30 inches, heavy 3, strength 6, -0 armor penetration, 1 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores 2 additional hits. And then War Scythe, which I'm assuming is for the Overlord, because it's only melee, is a +2 strength to the user, and it's -4 AP and 2 damage. Other royal gear is a resurrection orb. Once per battle in your command phase, the bearer can use its resurrection orb if it does select one friendly Zarakan unit within 6 inches of the bearer that is not at its starting strength and has not had its reanimation protocols enacted this phase. That unit's reanimation protocols are enacted and every destroyed model in that unit begins to reassemble. That's nice. Cool. A quick tutorial. Right, veteran mission C19. After weeks of heavy, brutal fighting, the increasingly depleted Imperial forces have broken through Necron's last line of defences and are within striking distance of their primary objective, Kajalma's Skull's Dolmen Gate. The Necrons have withdrawn their elite forces from surrounding battlefields to hold the line. The battles that follow may well determine the fate of Ramsus' system. So, Necrons. Regroup and counter. The Necrons, reacting to the latest Imperial assault, have begun to summon troops from the front lines in order to bolster their defences. They must prevent the humans from establishing a position within their bastion, even if doing so means unleashing the destroyer cults in their entirety. And the Imperials must establish a beachhead. The first Imperial forces into the breach have been ordered to secure a position within the Necron central bastion and hold their ground long enough for reinforcements to exploit the beachhead within the tomb. They must first clear a path through the Necron defenders. No simple task. So your mission briefing is Imperial forces have breached the Necron's defences and are advancing towards enemy lines. If they can establish a foothold, their reinforcements may be able to join them. Mission rules, hostile territory. If a unit has a pre-battle rule that allows it to set up anywhere on the battlefield, that unit must still be set up wholly within your deployment zone. Okay. The Imperium player is player A in this mission. So we're using all 4 of our battle mats again on the pale grey side. Player A deployment zone is 9 inches from this short edge, and player B is, they've got a triangular deployment zone with an 11 inch by 6 inch red box here. What's that for? What's the red box for? Hello? So you've got 4 objective markers here. Establish foothold for what's it? What is that for? Okay, this does make sense. Oh, hang on, here we go. The Imperium player adds up the power rating of all friendly units wholly within the zone marked in red on the map below and scores a number of victory points equivalent to the total for a maximum of 15 victory points. So if you've got Imperial units within this 6 inch by 11 inch red box, you can earn victory points, basically. Right, and then 79 and 80, we've got Bobby G, the G-Man. Right, let's have a quick look at the plastic. Come down, let's have a look at the plastic. And then you can go off and do whatever you want to do. Have some tea. Oh, actually, I made a cup of tea, I haven't drunk it. Oh no, right, so this is a sculpt of 2011. Mine's had a bit of damage here, so hopefully nothing's been affected. Doesn't look it, so hopefully that'll be good. I'm liking this, although it's a sculpt which is what, now 12 years old. It's still a nice mini. I'm looking at this and I'm liking it. In case you haven't noticed. Yeah, I mean, we've got on this one, we've got the platform for the, this looks like the platform for the Necron Overlord here. We've got the legs for our pilots, the Necron's command stave, some weapons here, or weapon, thruster nozzles, and so on and so forth there. Coming over to this bit, these are, if you build the Annihilation Barge, then these are the puppies that you would use for it. As I said, my girlfriend has, she's ordered some which I've given her the money for, so hopefully when she gets her spare one, that she's ordered for me, I'll get that and I can make an Annihilation Barge as well. Here's other weapon option. The Overlord, you know, it's got the nice sort of like scale link cloak there. So he'll look good. When I get the other one, I may make, obviously, another, I'll fish out a 40mm out of my 40mm base out of my spares pot and pop him on it, because I don't think I need him for the Annihilation Barge. But yeah, I mean, there's quite a bit to it, slightly more complicated than some others that I've looked at, but it's looking good. I'm going to enjoy doing this. So this is the back spine, as it were, here. And then these are essentially the wings. So you sandwich those two together, and then they slot together in some way, shape or form. cool. I am looking forward to building this. So come back and we'll get it started. Hey lovely people. Okay, so let's build our gunboat croissant, shall we? Actually, we're not building the for the magazine. We're not building the Annihilation Barge version. We're going to just build the Catacomb Command Barge. However, I will show you how to make, because it's only one step, and I'll show you how to make the different command barge variation. What I'm going to do first though is, first thing I'm going to do is glue these two halves together, and then I'm going to glue these two halves together as well, which are the main part assemblies really. I'm stuck, unfortunately, having to use majority of this. I'm going to be using plastic glue, but hey ho, where needs must. I'm running out of plastic weld. I mean, like really running out of plastic weld. So I am just going to obviously pop this on the edges, and then these two will be pressed together. So this literally just sandwiches on like thus. And these can be off to the side setting whilst I do the build for the other bits. Now just going back to what I was saying about, there's only really one stage difference with making the command barge or the Annihilation Barge, and literally it's the last one. So on the last stage, and I'll show you the difference. I'll also show you if you really wanted to have your Necron Overlord that comes with this kit, you could, if you so chose, just pop him on a 32mm base. There's a piece that goes in here which I'm going to glue in, just basically because I might as well, seeing as I'm at this stage, and she can't find it now. Where did I pop that? No. I thought I put it up the top. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so let's just get this round the right way. So it should only go in one way because of the way that the almost diamond-like shape of it is set. So there you go. That's those two parts, and I just want them off to the side, going off, and so forth. Right, so the first thing that they get you to do in the destructions is the pilots. Now I've already done one, and I'm just going to do the second one. So make sure you get these the right way round. And then the spine and leg assembly will sit in, and it's actually keyed so that it should just make it look like these are sat hunched over the controls. And then what I'm going to do is, although it doesn't come up until a bit later, I'm actually going to pop his head on, because it just makes it easier than trying to fiddle about with it a bit later on. So that's one. I've already done the other one. Okay. Next thing we do is sort out the chairs. So we've got this piece, and then we're going to stick what looks like a pair of calipers to the top, and then just on this bit here we are going to stick the seat on. Now make sure you get this around the right way so that these overhanging ends face backwards towards the vehicle, and then just try and square that off as best as possible. So we got both of those done. Okay. Now if you want to, you can glue these in to position. They literally just go into position. There's a plug on the spine, and they just go into the position like so. However, in the magazine, and I concur with this, the magazine says don't glue them into position so that it's easier to paint these, and then glue them in once you've painted them. So the next thing we're going to do is, this is the bottom, the underside of the command barge, and you'll see that there's two little recesses there, and on these chairs these have got some pegs. There's one there, one on top. So I'm actually going to use a bit of plastic weld in each of those, because the plastic weld will go off quicker than the plastic glue. So one goes in, and two goes in like so. Right, so next thing we're going to do is glue in the croissant. So this will only go on one way, and the bit it glues around is this bit here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll use plastic glue for that. Like so. Then what happens is we're just going to set this aside for a sec. Then we're going to come in and do some gluing on this. So keeping it that way up, first thing we're going to glue in is the big shiny dome, which is this one. Now this is shaped so it should only sit one way, and then we have these thrust nozzles. Now I've already done one, so they're going to end up looking like this. Okay, so again, and there you go. Now, what then happens is the thrust nozzles are glued into position, and I did try see if they would stay in without, and they don't really. They will easily pull out. But when you put this together, these fluted bits face the top. Okay. So those fluted bits face the top. I'm just going to pop some glue in there and in there. And then drop a bit of glue on each of those. And then this glues on. Like so, and you need to make sure that your pilot chairs are aligned correctly. So that's our assembly so far. Okay. Just pop that aside. Right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to build up the front control vane. Okay, so this will go on to the front of the thing. Now, because I've already built one, so because I got two. My girlfriend ordered some extras, so I found it easier to put this on first, making sure that you make sure that these are up the right way. Okay, like so. Then you have these two pieces, okay? So that piece and this piece, and they glue together like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a bit of plastic weld, again because the plastic weld will go off a bit quicker. And they glue together like so. Right, so that's one. And then that's the other. So what we now have, if you look at this, these will then locate, there's a blank, you can see a slightly recessed rectangle in there, and that's where that goes. So again, I'm going to use plastic weld. So there's one, and number two. And that is how the control panel is done. And again, this is a sub-assembly, so don't glue it on, but you can actually just press it on like so, which is going to be important when you come to do the arms for your, which is the next step for your Necron pilots. Okay, I don't know why that's not staying where it's supposed to stay. So, Necron pilots. These go in and they kind of clip in like that, and they're hunched over the control panel. Now this is a bit awkward, so if you've got a bit of blue tack, you can use a bit of blue tack to keep them in. I managed to just keep him in ever so gently, and then this chap has he's pressing buttons with 2 fingers with this arm, but he also has his hand on what could be a control orb just here in the control panel. So I'm going to put that in. Oops, come on, like so. Okay, and then I'm just going to take him out so that he can dry and go off to one side. What I'm going to do next is the spine, which is this piece here. And this is literally goes in just here like so. And that's it. That's all you do with this bit. Now, we then build these up. Now, there is an issue with these, and that is that part 33, which goes on this side, actually needs to be swapped with the other side. The way that it's done, and it's a print error, so part 33 needs to be swapped with part 57. Okay, and it's a print error in the instructions, but you've got 3 brackets here which go into, let's pop that to one side, which go into these recesses, and each recess is shaped slightly differently, so you can't get them wrong in theory. So we've got a large square goes in there. Oops. Then we have kind of a fluted rectangle. Goes in there. And then you have a triangular, a lopsided triangle goes in there. Sorry, my mistake. It's part 37 that should be swapped with part 54. Get it right. So, and you end up with these two looking like that. Okay. Now these will then be glued onto these bits here. Okay. And they go into, there's some recesses on the spine here, but it also marries up. Don't know if you can see that. It marries up there. So pop yourself a little bit of glue in there, just tiny little bits in these recesses. Marry this up first, and that's going to make it slightly easier to get all of these in the right place then. Okay, and it's the same with this side. And then 1, 2, 3. So marry up that first, and then you'll find it easier for those to, oops, go into position. So 1, 2, 3, like so, and then that's that, and that looks like that. I am going to need to, what I'm going to do actually is, let's revert back to some plastic weld, some of that, and a clip. That's not going to work, is it? That's better. That'll work. Right. So there you go. That's pretty much the barge, okay, as it stands. So I'm just going to pop that to one side to dry. Now, let's come on to making our Necron. So you can make your Necron so that he is either holding a resurrection orb, or you can have it so he's got his hand on one of the control banisters on the deck. So we're going to start off with the torso and then put the neck piece in. So torso goes on like thus, then the neck goes in, and you want to make sure you get this round the right way. It's not particularly clear in the instructions. And because of the way that it's placed, it's a little bit awkward. In getting it in there. Tweezers. So. Like so. Let's pop it a little bit more down the back, just to keep it intact. Now, from there, the legs go in. And I'm going to have this one, because I'm building the command barge this time round. So this particular Necron Noble will be used on my command barge. Then I'll pop the head on. And then, because I'm using this arm for the Necron, what I'm going to do is, just using the one that I built previously, I've already built a command dais. What I'm going to do is just pop that in like so, and then this guy I'm going to drop a bit of glue in the joint. And just, okay, yeah, so that'll be fine. I think the way his arm's positioned, that's going to be fine. I'm just going to take his head off because I'm not happy that it hasn't glued properly. And let's get that back on there, like so. And then his stave, goes in like so. Really not liking this plastic glue as an alternative to my usual stuff. Really don't like it. Right. And then, last but not least, he has a spine that just goes in there, and this will only go in one way. So like that, and then that is your Necron Noble for the command barge. Now the dais essentially looks like this. So you've got all these bits here, and you're just going to glue them together like thus. So make sure you get them the right way up. So one side. So, and then the legs. So your legs, make sure you've got these innermost, so that's that way round. 1, 2, and then these post in there like that. And again, same this side, and that should command dais. Okay, so that's how that goes together, like so. So it looks like this, and then you will obviously glue that on there, like so. Your Necron Overlord will stand here. Okay, and then you'll put your pilots in. Now, weapons and armament. So the command barge has a weapon system. First thing you're going to do is you've got these coils, so you're going to glue 2 of these together. All right, and they just basically go together like so. Notice that there's 3 of these plugs on the inside, okay, not on the outside. So let's get started with the easy stuff. This goes on there, like so. And then what happens is you glue these into one there, and these aren't, I mean, although they marry up, they're not pinned or anything, which I think is definitely a miss on the part of GW for making this kit. I should have gone with plastic weld for this. So there's one. And it's going to be the same on the other side. I'm going to go with plastic weld. You then have this. Now this goes this way in, like so. And I'm actually going to do that. And then on this side, do this. I think, looking at this, this is going to be the easier way to glue these parts in. Like so. And you've got an assembly that looks like this, okay? You've got these 2 pins here, and these are the pins that will actually glue up into the bottom here of the command barge. So they will actually pin in there. But despite it saying not to do this in the instructions, I'm going to keep this weapon system separate. So that's the main body. You then have 2 small weapon options. And your weapon options are basically this one. Which this squared one, which then has this design on the front. Okay, so that's one. And then the other one, which is this design, which goes on there like that. And uses the smaller one of these to go on. Just make sure you get that round the right way. It is pinned, so it should only go on one way. Like so. Now, both of these then kind of go on position like so. Now what I've done is I have taken some magnets do is I'm going to glue one in here and then I'm going to glue one to each of these weapon mounts. Like so. Then I can, because this has got a pin here, so I can pin that there and push the magnet in up into that recess to basically get the weapons to be swappable. Now, where did I put that other weapon? There it is. And again, I'm just going to, wrong bit of glue, I'm going to pop some super glue on there. Gorilla Super Glue Gel is what I'm using. This plastic glue's terrible. Absolutely hating it. Right, let's get some plastic weld on it. That'll keep it. And then glue that on there. Like that. Then, like I was saying, I can literally push that into there and that into there, and I've got a magnetised weapon. And then when it comes to it, when I've built and painted this, I should just glue that straight into position there, and it means that my weapons will then be swappable, like so. Now, the only major difference between the Command Barge and the Annihilation Barge is literally the main weapon system. So the main weapon system has these bits. And you have this nice, huge gun here. Okay. Let's get the plastic weld on this one. Put that to one side. So, oh, that'd be somebody for the neighbours, that's nice. Right, so that's that. Then we have these two cones, which again are pinned, so they will only go on one way. That one goes in there, and that one goes in there. Now, this gets glued into this arrangement. Literally, it just slots on top like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use plastic weld from underneath to secure like that. Then what you would do is you have these kind of, I don't know what they are, magazine, I don't know, are these the power cells for the weapon? And they go in at a slight angle. So one on each side, one there, and one on that side. Like thus. Now, they have these on the underside, and what these do is go into there and there, and then you're pinned basically in the middle, so that your assembly, in actual fact I'm going to glue that because it's not going to make much difference. I should just glue this together. Although I'm going to paint these guns separately from this body, this then sits on top of there, gets keyed in like so. So this is your gun assembly. You then have this, which sits in these here, like so, and then you would, as I say, you would glue those onto there, and then this would just go on to the command barge like that, and that would be your annihilation barge. Oops. Okay, so that is how that will go on there. So there you go. That's how the Annihilation Barge goes together. Now, looking at this, just so you know, if you wanted to put this, because this guy comes with a 32mm base, I'm going to use one of my death marks here to just show you that the 32mm base, if you wanted to put your Necron Overlord on a 32mm base and then pop him onto the command barge, he will fit. Okay, so you can do that and just pop him on and off. The 40mm base doesn't fit, but I put him on I've put one on a 40mm base. This one's just going to be glued to the command barge. So there you go, that's it. I've built two. So one of them is going to be my command barge, one of them is going to be my Annihilation Barge. Both of them have the weapon system, okay, which I have made so that it's hot swappable, like so. So that's a sub-assembly with the weapons. So command barge, sub-assembly, Annihilation Barge, and this is a sub-assembly. You've got your pilots, they're another sub-assembly, so that's that one, pilots. And there you go. And like I say, you've got the weapon system, which is a sub-assembly, and obviously the command dais here is a sub-assembly. So that's basically it. That's how I'm going to, that's how I've broken mine down. That's how I'm going to spray them. Essentially for ease of painting. Okay, so there you go. I've got one of each. I've got an Annihilation Barge and a command barge. Essentially they go together exactly the same way. The final step is the difference. So the final step for each to make either the command barge or the Annihilation Barge is what is different. Okay. So join me in the next video. Alright, take care. Bye bye.